So this video is about partner objection. So before I get into the script of what to say to someone where you get the partner objection, a couple of things to understand. This particular track is about abdication, meaning when you're talking to someone where they're clearly either in charge of their own life, let's say they want to lose weight or something, or want coaching, or they're running a business, and they're kind of deflecting by saying, I need to talk to my wife or my husband, where it's a situation where the wife or husband is actually not involved in the business or in what they want to do personally, and they're kind of abdicating their responsibility to the partner, which is not fair, right? Because it kind of then is a person you can blame, right? So it's something that people do as a deflection. And so that's what this particular track's going to cover. Keep in mind, there's also true logistical, which is over here. What that means is if you discover that they do need to speak to their spouse or their partner or business partner because they are involved in what it is that you're selling, and let's say it's a business and there's a business partner, then of course you can't get them to make a decision. It's a true logistical situation, and you need to probably stop the meeting and invite that decision maker onto the call, which is really, really important. Now, a lot of this is actually pre-handled, right? So I'm going to talk about it being pre-handled upstream, because we want to make sure that we have the least amount of objections at the end of a sales call. And so essentially the best place where we retain our power in the call, our status, is before we present. Once you start presenting your solution, you lose a bit of power, because now the person is sitting back, I guess, a little bit in charge of making a decision whether you are the solution or not. Before you present, you've got more power because you haven't presented anything yet, and really you're trying to find out what's going on, and they're being a little bit more compliant because they want to hear what your solution is, right? That's just how the mindset that goes. So how do you pre-handle partner? Well, if you look at the script and you look here at going down for reason for the call, you find the problem, you find the buying buttons, like it's in this area here. So typically what I would do is if I look for an opportunity, if I'm speaking to someone, for example, about, let's say, lead generation, to make it easy in my space, and if I'm speaking to, let's say, a man, and we're having a chat about lead generation, he wants to grow his business, then, you know, if he's working a lot of hours, whatever might come up, I'll look for something in the conversation, and I go, oh, I look at it, and I didn't even ask, like, do you also, you know, do you have a partner? Do you take care of a family? You know, the hours you're working? And they might say, yeah, I've got wife and I've got 2 kids. I go, okay, cool. And I mean, this is now where I handle partner objection. I go, how does your wife feel about your business? Is she supportive of what you're trying to do? Are you guys like, you know, is this like a joint thing where you both really want to grow the business? So, you know, and then I also want to find out what is their desire. If their desire is to retire the wife, or to get her into the business later on, or live a better life, or buy a house, whatever it is. And so you want to get the buy-in. It's going to dramatically reduce the I need to speak to my partner. Because if in the call upstream, you can already have a conversation around how do they feel? Are they supportive? Are they like, you know, or, you know, you might find out they're at odds. No, she's not in it with all. Why is that? Maybe the person you're speaking to has done dumb stuff and invested or lost a lot of money, and now the partner doesn't trust them anymore. So now they have to talk. It's a good time to find that out, because if you do find that out, you might get to the end before you present and go, look, based on what you've shared with me, and I really appreciate what you shared with me about your partner, I think it's a really good idea, given that you want to do this, that we actually organize a meeting for tomorrow or the next day when your partner's available as well. I think they should hear it as well, given the history here. So you either go down that path, or you handle it by, are they on board as well, and so on. Hope that makes sense. You want to pre-handle the objection, because I rather deal with objections now, like I want to think about it, partner, upstream. Let's talk about it all. So when you get to the end of it and they're really bought into what you can do for them to get them from A to B, then there shouldn't be much resistance. So that's really important to know. So we've covered off pre-handling it. We talked about logistical, like you can't handle every part. If someone, it's really like they are a decision maker, then you have to stop and organize another meeting. But if it is just more a case of a little bit of nerves of fear or deflection, like that, they really are the person, like let's say it's a weight loss situation and really it's really up to them to do this, then we obviously go into the partner objection track, which I'll share with you. Now, the other thing is that before you get there, I've got here tie down method and money. So let's say you get to the end of your sales call and you've gone through everything. They say it's the right solution. You've talked about money, and then you kind of say something like, all right, how would you like to proceed? And let's say they go, oh, I need to talk to my partner about it. Let's say you did try and pre-handle it, but they go, I need to speak to my partner about it. The first things out of your mouth are always the same words. No matter what objection they give you, number one, stay calm. It's no worries. And that's exactly what you say to them. No problem at all. I might say something like, no problems at all. What's your sort of time frame, I guess, in getting back to me? Just want to see if I'll be available. We can book in a time, have another chat, how that goes. And so, it's about disarming them so they don't feel resistance. Now, before I address partner, I'm going to tie down method and money first, because nothing else matters. Here's how to think about this. Them speaking to the partner doesn't matter if you find out that they don't believe in your method, whatever it is you're selling, right? For example, in my space, if they don't feel me putting those systems in place will actually help them get clients, then it doesn't really matter about the partner, because method is king. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I go, how do you want to proceed? And they go to me, just need to speak to my partner. I go, no worries at all. Look, aside from speaking with your partner, and if we can just park the investment, the money as well, can I ask, do you really feel like this would help you get more clients? And if they say yes, I go, why is that? So now they're selling me on why this works. And then I might say something like, okay, so it doesn't sound like you're in a should you do this? Is it more like, how can I do this financially speaking? Now, if they go down, I've got to work out if I can afford it, then now I already know that it's a money situation. And I'm going to address that first, which is why I've got here method and money always comes first. So, and there's another video that'll talk about all of this, but I just want to do a bit of a recap so you know where to start this track here. So then I go through money, and if we sort out money, whether it's a payment plan or something, they feel good. I go, okay, so you feel good about this is what you need to help you get to X, Y, Z, so you can do emotional payoff, and the money works. How would you like to proceed? I'm just going to ignore the partner objection because it might have been a smokescreen. And they might go, yeah, let's go ahead, do the sale. Or they might go, no, all that sounds good. I'll simply speak to my partner. Then I'm going to come back to this and go, no problem. Is your partner supportive of you, losing the 20 pounds so you can have a bit more energy and kind of be with the kids and stuff? If they go, yes, and then I'll go, well, what happens if you go to your partner and they don't want you to get to learn or to lose the weight, I should say? What happens then? This is really important, right, to understand whether they're now taking responsibility and kind of go, well, I'll still do it because I'm responsible for this path of, let's say, losing weight, or whether they're abdicating responsibility, which we're going to have to call out. So if they give you the I don't know, I'm going to go, well, what happens if you go to your partner and they don't want you to lose the weight and feel better, right? And then we go into this track over here. Now, if it's the left-hand side, we'll just park that for a moment. But let's just say they straight out say to you, I wouldn't do it. At this point, they've abdicated their responsibility. So then I can say something like, have you heard of a saying, heavy is the head that wears the crown? And either say yes or no. Either way, I'm going to go, yeah, it's a Shakespeare saying. So if you imagine a king with a big crown on him, a lot of people look at that as gold and jewelry, as in like it's heavy, right? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. But it's actually not about that. It's about the burden of responsibility that king shoulders, right? So I guess my question for you is, with losing this weight, like ultimately, whose responsibility is it that you lose this weight? And they might say, well, it's mine. Right. So knowing that it's your responsibility, is it really fair for yourself and your partner that you put that responsibility onto them? Because if they say no and you don't do it, that basically means it's their decision and not yours. They might say, yeah, you're right. Now, I might come back, yeah, but I do want to say I didn't ask if I'm right or wrong. I'm asking, is it fair to put that responsibility onto them about your life? And if they go, no, it's not, now we want them to defend a position and go, why not? And they're probably going to say something like, well, ultimately it's my responsibility, it's my decision to do that, not theirs, like it's my life. And so then you go back into sale and goes, look, so knowing that you feel like this could help you lose all this weight, and knowing that the money works because we've addressed it, and knowing that whether your partner said no, you still do it because of what you just said, it's your responsibility, which I agree with 100%, where should we go from here? So they're either then going to go, let's do it, or now we're into fear territory, right? Now they're just nervous. And then it really goes into a fear script, which is another lesson. So hope that makes sense. It's really about addressing. A lot of people you find on sales calls will just abdicate responsibility. Like, oh, I'll speak to my partner. If she says no, I won't do it. And it's like, it's the easy out, right? But if you really think about it, if your partner said yes, you can do it, and you do it, and you put in all the hard work to do it, is it their success or your success, right? And if they say no, don't do it, and you just get bigger and get unhealthy, are you truly going to sit there and blame the partner and go, well, they made the decision as a grown-up? Like, it's not going to fly, and we're going to call that out. We're going to bring awareness to it in a logical way to kind of shut the door on that so we can move on. And so if we go up here, right, what happens if you go to your partner and they don't want you to do it, right? So we just went through that middle one. I wouldn't do it. We talk about responsibility. If they go, I still do it, we push back and go, why? And if they go, well, it's my decision and blah, blah, blah and all that. And again, we go back. So knowing that you feel like this could help you and knowing that the money works and knowing that it's, whether your partner says yes or no, you'd still do it because it's your responsibility. What should we do? And then, of course, I think that's all of them. Yes. So they're the main ones. So the main track to go through is about them taking responsibility and calling that out and essentially conveying to them, is it fair ultimately that something that you're responsible for, you're putting on someone else? Is that really fair? And then when they obviously going to say, no, it's not, you want to push back with, why not? And then they're going to sell you why it's their responsibility, which leads you nicely into, yep. So knowing that what we talked about, you feel like will work for you, and I agree, the money works, and you are responsible for your own life and your actions. How do you want to proceed? And go straight to that. I hope this video really helped. This is something that I would say you just practice over and over. Change the wording. I always say that don't use my wording that I've got here. Make it your own so it feels authentic for you, right? And you've got to practice it. It's got to be conversational. So tone's important on how you just have a two-way chat. At this point of the conversation, you should have pretty good rapport with someone that you can challenge them a little bit. And sometimes if I want to get permission, I might say to them, you know how early in the conversation, if they give me the partner objection, you know how early in the conversation you said that part of what you're looking for in potentially working with someone about helping you lose weight was, coaching and accountability? And they're like, yeah, so you really want that? Yeah. Do you mind if I offer some of that coaching to you right now? And they'll go, yes. And essentially what they've just given you is permission to kind of drop the hammer. And so then I can go is, okay, cool. So no problem about you want to speak to your partner, but is your partner supportive of you losing all that weight? Yes. So from a coaching perspective, let me ask, what happens if they say no? And they don't want you to lose the weight? I wouldn't do it. Now I can go harder into coaching. So this is a way you can get permission-based if you feel like, I feel a bit uncomfortable asking these questions. But I will say this. If you're not feeling uncomfortable yourself in a sales conversation, that means you're staying surface level. You're going to get surface level answers and you're probably not going to get a good outcome. So some of the best sales reps I've worked with, they're very comfortable, like a doctor, to find pain and push on it, or like a psychologist and ask the real questions that people are afraid to ask. And so if you're afraid to ask serious questions, it might just be a story you're telling yourself. But in reality, it's fine to ask the question if you ask it without going funny about it, right? You just have a normal conversation and go deep. And what I've found time and time again, when I go deep with a prospect, they actually appreciate it because they get a lot of aha moments. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you inside the next one.